Director of Bands and Orchestra here at Fresno City College, and I have been privileged, honored, excited to work with these wonderful students behind me for the last 2 weeks. And we have worked so hard, creative. We have done a lot of things, most of which you just experienced here. Our concert today is sound throughout the eras. Music is all around us and has been a part of humanity since the beginning of time. So we started out with ancient music, Gregorian chant, and then they moved, the student composition moved through to the classical era. And then we jumped forward to gospel music, a little bit of jazz, and then we ended with rock. And those are just a few glimpses of music throughout time, right? Our concert today, however, is comprised of different pieces that will take you on a musical journey. And so I'm really excited to present this program to you today. Before we get started, I would like to thank a few people who are filling in. We had unfortunate illnesses toward the end of the week, and several students weren't able to play today. So I want to thank Professor Cody Forcier on tuba, Elias on trombone, Reena Esmail on trombone, and also Chris Collins on clarinet, and Jasmine on flute. Before we get started, I must thank 3 of my students who have been student aides the last 2 weeks, and they have also been helping out in each section, and they have been echoing my words in their own words, relating to the students in a way that I cannot. And they have been an integral part of the student success. I have been so impressed with their maturity musically, and they've also had a lot of time on the podium conducting. Would you please give a warm thank you and applause, and also students as well, to Esteban, Katie, and Philip.
Journey through different eras of time, featuring music that invokes emotion and passion and allows you to transport yourself during this musical escapade. Fiery and full of energy, La Sevillana by Jorge Vargas is an exciting and unique concert march inspired by the passion and intensity of the Spanish pasodoble. Driving rhythms, bold articulations, and tuneful melodies combine to create a work that is both exciting and expressive. Contrasting lyrical sections provide moments of warmth and shape, while the more aggressive style of the march offers opportunities to explore articulation and dynamic contrast. Colorful and engaging, La Sevillana is sure to change your mind about what a typical march should sound like. Sit back and enjoy.
Composer Tyler Arcari wrote this piece as an homage to blue-collar workers, written for, thank you. Okay, sorry. Composer Tyler Arcari wrote this piece for an homage to blue-collar workers, written for a small town in Georgia with a lot of style. This clever work for concert band is a modern dance inspired by the composer's own early life growing up in a small town community. Much like our Central Valley, our hometowns are full of hardworking, upstanding, blue-collar citizens who help create and support an utopian community that celebrates agriculture, engineering, education, and all the arts that our society has to offer. Our towns might be small, but they all have big hearts. We know you will love this piece. Here is Blue Collar Breakdown.
piece focuses on small-town spirit, but it's placed in the setting of a large metropolitan area. Capture the spirit of a town reborn in this symphonic work, where many paths converge in purpose and progress. Metallic textures give way to soaring melodies, and vibrant rhythms symbolize renewal forged through unity, determination, and vision. Designed for resilient band programs that rise through challenge, this is a testament to what can be built when hearts and hands move forward together. This is Novus.
piece was written by the composer herself. Her name is Reena Esmail. The title of this piece is a conglomeration of two words. The Italian word tutti means all or everyone, and the term trana designates a specific Hindustani musical form, whose closest Western counterpart is the scat and jazz. The trana is a place where musicians can put their greatest virtuosity on display, leaving an audience in awe. While a trana is a solo form, I wanted to bring that same energy to an ensemble form. This work was originally written for treble chorus, then arranged for brass quintet, and is now in its third iteration for concert band.
in particular, many of course have returned over the years, but one student in particular has participated for 4 summers in a row. And I am so excited to say that that student is also attending Fresno City College as a music major in the fall. And that special student is Krishan Desi on tenor saxophone.
piece was written by the composer himself. His name is Alan Clark. Industrial is a high-energy feature for concert band, which are highlighted by primal wooden and industrial metallic sounds. The initial inspiration for Industria occurred in the summer of 2013. While I was driving along Alabama Interstate 85 on my way to visit Robert W. Smith, I noticed a large dead pine tree that had been cut in short segments along the fence line. And I imagined my colleague and my friend Miguel Castro improvising rhythmic patterns of various logs lying about. I began to consider different musical motives that might contrast the primitive wooden sounds of the logs and other ancient instruments with the modern metallic industrial sounds inspired by the vehicles speeding by. We hope you enjoy this percussion feature called Industria.
for the program is a culmination of all the things you've heard today. In our modern world, on this very stage, we are celebrating music from ancient days of past. An Ancient World by Adrian Sims imagines the ruins of a past civilization. The work explores the mysterious and fascinating landscapes that were once so beautiful. Reawakened in a new light, the world reignites with energy after a final morning of which was lost and can never be restored toward the end of the piece. The music starts to escalate and live out the essence of ancient royalty with one last celebratory musical statement. Thank you, and this is An Ancient World.